Okay, now I'm going to go over using the wipeout products to clean your rifle's bore. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our bore guide, because we want to keep all those solvents out of our action. We don't want it in the trigger, we don't want it in our mag box, and the bore guide allows us to seal that action area up. These wipeout products are very simple to use. Essentially, it's a foam that foams up into your barrel and cleans it, and then all you have to do is run some patches through and it's done. Very simple. There's a second product called the accelerator. I really like the accelerator because it creates an accelerated process of cleaning, and it works a little faster. So if you are crunched for a little bit of time, this will make it run a little faster. It still takes 2 to 3 hours to do. So this isn't something you're going to go to the range while you're breaking in a rifle and shoot one shot and clean it with the wipeout products. But this is something you can use to let it sit overnight, come back in the morning, patch it out, and you're ready to go. Okay, the first step is we're going to add the accelerator to the inside of that bore. And it's very simple. You just take the accelerator, you take a patch with your jag. We'll put a few drops onto the patch, and we'll run it into the bore. So what you're going to do here is I like to run it back and forth a few times. What we're doing is we're removing all the large particles of carbon and all that kind of stuff so that we can get that wipeout foam right to the copper. And so we've got one patch down there with the accelerator in it, and now we're ready to add the wipeout foam to the bore. Now you kind of got to be careful here, but it has a nice little nozzle. You can either go from the muzzle end and put the muzzle in here, or you can, if you have one of these nice bore guides, you can just go from the bore guide end, and I like doing that. So what we'll do is we'll attach this to the bore guide, and we're just going to give it a couple little squirts. It actually works quite fast, so you don't want to get too carried away with it. You'll just add some squirts until you start getting just a little foam out the muzzle. You don't want to really squirt it. There we go. So we're starting to get a little foam out the muzzle, and so we're going to call that good right there. Now it's very simple. All we have to do is walk away, and we'll come back in a couple hours, and we'll be able to just patch this out and go to the range. We're ready to go. All right, this rifle's been soaking for 2 to 3 hours. Now all we have to do is we'll take our jag, one of our dry patches. We're going to run that through the bore. I always like to do a couple of them just to make sure we got all that solvent out of the inside of the bore. And then we'll take a look at the bore. If we don't see any signs of copper, then the wipeout's done its job, and it's almost ready to go back out in the field. Okay, the bore looks clean. I'm not seeing any copper fouling in there. Looks like we got it all out. So the final step, of course, is to run just a little bit of oil down the bore. So like before, we'll add 2 or 3 drops of oil to a patch. And like I said, any oil will work. We'll work that bore over pretty good with that oil, and then a couple dry patches just to get any of the excess oil out of there. And now our bore's clean. All we have to do is pull our bore guide, start with our action cleaning tools. We'll clean out the chamber there really well, get all the crud out of there, and then right back into the bolt lug recesses. We'll get those recesses cleaned out of there. Okay, now the rifle's all clean. It's ready to go to the field and continue shooting. These wipeout products, they're not the fastest cleaning products, but they are the simplest. Very simple. You put it in, you patch it out, and you're ready to go.